Jake says there's been a lot of spin bowled in the white ball matches in the women's Ashes. Oh, it looks like we've got another question here. Australia are having 4 spinners yesterday. England bowled with Eccleston at the death in T20s. Do you think the women's game suits spin more due to lack of pace and the players can whack at 100 and players who can whack at 100 meters? Or are spinners still on the ball in men's white ball game? I didn't realize this was going to be the women's spin edition of Wagon Wheel. I'm massively excited about these weird questions, but Australia had 4 spinners, but they also have 4 seamers. They basically have 80 overs that they can bowl at any one time, and that's part of the reason they win so much. They have the ability to sort of just use what they need to use, and in any situation, I would say is probably the best way of putting it. So I think from that perspective, I don't think it's that much different. I do think I've looked at this, Jake, and I want to say that there isn't that much of a higher percentage of spin bowled in women's cricket, but you are right. I think Ashley Gardner opened in the one-dayer, and it's being played right now. I should check those scores. And we certainly had, Jess Jonathan is a fantastic death bowler. We've seen, a lot of other spinners around the world in similar situations. As you said, Eccleston was another one. I do think at the death, when the ball is softer, that it's even harder for the women to just clear the boundaries. Women do clear the boundaries a lot more, obviously, than they did 7 or 8 years ago. It's probably been that sort of, certainly since Women's Big Bash has come on, I think, women are not having as much trouble clearing the boundaries. But when you do have a soft ball at the end and you have to generate your own pace, especially when you've got, I think if you have top order players in, teams would probably be, depending on, the bowlers, like Eccleston and Jess Johnson are specialists, so that's different. But I think when you have top order players in, you might consider not bowling as much spin at the death in certain situations. But for a lot of women's cricket, you still have a lot of, outside of some of the better teams, you still have the 6, 7, and 8 who, they're not particularly big hitters. They might be decent batters. They might be able to manipulate the field a little bit, but you're not worried about them taking you down. And so I do think that is a part of it. The other thing from the previous question is also, I think because they bowl with a lower arm action, in some cases, they sort of skid the ball a little bit more through. It's actually hard to get under them if they're bowling really well. I think Jess Jonathan is really good at that. I've seen Eccleston bowl at the death. I'm trying to think if she does the same thing. But I do think that's a part of it.